Craft story, craft story, craft story, tell me about your life.
Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new show which is called Craft Story. We decided it might be quite nice to put together a little half-hour show where we go behind the scenes a little bit and find out more about some of the amazing people that work here at Crafters Companion. And hopefully, if this show is a huge success, which I know it will be, over time we will obviously meet people that I think you probably already know, but then also go behind the scenes a little bit more and introduce you to perhaps people who perhaps you don't see every day, who you wanted to find out more about. And as we do this show, you know what, I think it would be nice if you want to fire in questions for future people on the show, and indeed if there's anyone particular that you want to find out more about, you can let us know and we can get them on a future show. But I'm delighted to say this is the first one, and you know, if we were going to start off with anybody, we had to go big. We had to go with an absolute crafting legend, and that's who I'm going to introduce you to in just a few moments here on Craft Story.
Craft story, craft story, craft story, tell me about your life.
And I wasn't lying, was I, when I say legend?
Bless you.
It's the one and only Debby Robinson.
Hey, thank you very much. Do you know what? I've never been called a legend before.
You are.
So I'll take that one. Thank you very much. But yes, I'm really excited. This is a first for me to be first in something as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I think, well, I said looking forward to it. I haven't actually asked him what he's going to ask me yet. So I think it's going to be one of those where we'll just go with the flow, I think, Ben.
I think we will. The thing is, you say you haven't asked me what I'm going to ask you. I don't know what I'm going to ask you, to be honest with you, because I've only written down a few notes. We literally decided about 15 minutes ago that we were going to do it. We've been wanting to do this show for a while because we get a lot of people, you know, asking about our guys and how they got started and all that kind of thing. So I thought it'd just be really nice to do. And you know what? The funny thing is, we were talking before we started filming, and I obviously call you the Barnsley Bombshell. That's my little nickname for you. But I didn't even know this. You're not from Barnsley originally, are you?
No, I was born in Sheffield and raised in Sheffield for a few short years. For my first younger years in life, I was born in Sheffield, raised in Sheffield in various parts. Moved to Barnsley. When I'm saying Barnsley, it was Worsborough first, when I was before literally secondary school.
Yeah.
And then moved to Tankersley Pilly, where we lived. I went to Tankersley School, and then hit Kirkboat, which is in Ireland, and that's where I've been ever since.
What was it like growing up in Yorkshire? Did you have like a happy childhood? Was it a fun childhood?
Absolutely, loads of fun. Because obviously back in the day as well, it's a different time, like era now. It's to what it is now. Back where you were out playing till dusk till dawn. Obviously, when you weren't at school, and just such a great upbringing. I had a lot of fun because I'm very close to my family, and had a lot of with Sheffield, links with Sheffield, because all my family is still in Sheffield.
Yeah. So
we're the only ones that have moved to Barnsley. The rest of our family are all there. So lots of good times were had with my cousins, my auntie, my uncle. So a really happy childhood, lots of fun, and I think that's why I'm still so close to them all, because of that. And they are good, fond memories that I'll have that will honestly very close to the heart. So I'll not say much more than that because I'll get all emotional. I will get all emotional. But yeah, I've had a very happy childhood. I've been very blessed, actually. Yeah. Very blessed indeed with my childhood. Yeah.
What were you, because obviously I've known you for probably 5 or 6 years now. What were you, and I know the character that you are now. What were you like as a kid?
Always the same.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've been any different. Not being any, always a little bit of, I've always been creative and always liked to do things. And me and my cousin, this is a classic example. Me and my cousin Carl, always making dance routines up, getting creative with us, because I love books fizz, he was into adamant. So we were always creative, making great big scrapbooks and pages and decorating and colouring and all sorts of things. But we always used to have to perform. We used to like dressing up and literally just having the time of his life. So I've always been a little bit of, shall we say, little loud, a little bit showy-offy. I've always been like that during when I was a child.
Did you do drama and stuff at school then? Did you do like plays?
I did love to do, yeah, absolutely loved drama at school. So we're always put my name forward whenever I wanted to do things like in plays. So I remember playing Jesus Christ in one of our school activity
You were Jesus?
plays. I was Jesus, yeah. Absolutely.
I told you he was a legend, didn't I?
But the thing is, I have always loved things like that. I've always been interested in things like that. Didn't at school though. Isn't that funny? When I moved up to secondary school, I never did it in secondary school. We're into music in secondary school, so I used to play the cornet and then moved to the trumpet, and so that was my thing that I went to in my school life.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I've always liked to be a little bit in the centre of attention.
Funny that. But the thing is, isn't it interesting? Because like you kind of always assume that because you are very crafty, that's the only thing that you've done. But I always find people who tend to be creative are like creative in sort of multiple fields. And I just want to touch on the music thing for a second, because obviously I dabble a bit when it comes to music. So you play the cornet and...
I started with the cornet, so that's that in the brass, and that I got into that when I literally hit secondary school. So the music, they asked you what kind of things you wanted to play,
yeah.
and I got really interested. So that's what I did, and I took exams in that, and then moved to the trumpet because it was bigger and a bit more different sound to what the cornet was. So I moved into the trumpet section.
So you did your grades on them, yeah? The graded exams.
Did, yeah,
what grades did you get up to?
Do you know, you're all right asking me now. I can't remember. I can still play.
Could you actually play now?
I can still play, yeah. If you were to give me a trumpet in my hand, I'd still be able to play that, yeah.
I really wish I brought a trumpet in.
Next time.
Debbie Robinson Part 2 will do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's so amazing. So we sort of found out that you've been very creative as a youngster growing up. I suppose you were quite arty. Did you do art as a subject at school?
Yeah, art was always a big thing for me. I remember when I lived in Pili, they were, do you know your local club?
Yeah.
I did like competition for colouring. I just remember drawing this horse and colouring and winning and getting on stage for the first time to collect, which was just one of those little medallions. Nothing, no big prizes or anything, but always loved it. And when I moved to secondary school, because those subjects are opened up to you, that's exactly what I did. I moved into art, and one of my favourite subjects, alongside English, because I did like writing as well, because I love getting creative in writing. I used to write stories and things like that. So I've always loved things creative, but art has always been a big passion of mine that obviously has transitioned now into where I am today.
So did you go on and study that further after you finished school? Did you do university then?
I didn't, no, because I, at that point, I love kids, I love youngsters. And I moved into, when I left school, moved into the world of nursery nursing.
Okay.
So I studied nursery nursing, so I have actually got initials at the side of my name.
Never?
It's Debbie, well, it was Debbie Suttle, but it's Debbie Robinson, NNEB.
NNEB?
Yes, I've got initials at the back, a diploma. Would you believe me, a diploma? But yeah.
What does it even stand for, NNEB?
Nursery Nursing Examination Board.
Wow.
So I qualified back in 80 something. That's all I'm saying. And moved to London. I did nannying down London. So and then I moved. Family situation changed, so I moved back home and set up a creche that's actually still running to this day at what was Granville College. It's now City, I think it's called City College or Castle College. That's where I went into and did that up until having children of my own.
Well, I know.
So yeah, but I haven't gone back into child, but I've always, I love that aspect because I used to get creative, loved playing with messy crafts, loved all that kind of thing. So I think that was the right chosen career for me. So I still went into that nursery nursing, but did that arty as well with them because that's what you do. It's all about play, isn't it? That's where they learn. Because it was 0 to 7, well, the creche where I was 0 to 5, but we learned about 0 to 7-year-old.
So that's obviously why you're so good. Whenever I see you chatting to the grandkids now, and I know you're brilliant with them, you always seem like so happy to see them, so good with them. And that's obviously kind of where it stems from. And then also you had your own kids and then the grandkids as well.
Definitely.
The other thing is to chat about, because I didn't know that you'd done that, but we always chat a lot about your dentistry as well, which people might not know, because you were, was it a dentist nurse you were for a while?
Yes, so this is before I joined Crafters Companion. I've had I've had many a varied role in life. I've done from nursery nursing to waitressing, disastrous.
Why
Barmaid,
does it say disastrous?
I used to trip, drop. I once remember dropping literally a gravy boat into someone's lap.
Oh, no.
So waitressing was definitely not for me. I could never get the balance act right. I could never do that balancing thing. You have things on your arms.
Yeah, they're kind of about 5 plates on each
arm. I could never do
that.
And so that wasn't what I ended up doing. But I'd done, bar work. I literally worked in post office, glass companies. I've done all sorts, very varied. But before I came to Crafter's Companion, it was dentistry that I was in.
Yeah.
And I did dental nursing at the practice where I used to go, actually. I did dental nursing just for a short while because it wasn't for me.
Did you have to take any exams to become a dental nurse?
I started on that, yeah. But when I realised it wasn't, because again, I could write a book on some of the stories that I could tell you about dentistry, but we'd need about 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes.
We'll get you back on again. We'll get you back on.
Exactly. So I moved from that dental practice to another dental practice, but I was receptionist, so I used to look after all the patients and do lots of things, and really enjoyed my time there. And I was there for 8 years before I actually, it was coming up to the 9th year before I moved to Crafter's Companion. So yes, that's what I've done. So yeah, dentistry was a big part of my life for a while.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? Like we learn all of these different things. We'll come on to talk about how you got to be involved in Crafter's Companion. But I know there's one lady you always talk about when it comes to this sort of style of crafting was your Auntie Jean, who was a really big influence on you, wasn't she? On getting into crafting.
Yeah. So I had my neighbour Jane, and obviously she still lives on the same street as me. I used to go and get my cards from her, and my best friend Linda was also into card making and always trying to get me to come to her classes because she ran classes, and I'd be like no. And then my Auntie Jean got into it, and I used to see her, and she'd love like card kits and doing things like that. So I used to watch her but never really got involved until this one particular Sunday. I remember it as close as, I just remember it like yesterday. She was struggling with her hands, and she asked me if I would help her with a kit, and because she used to make for charity, and I say charity, it was the St Luke's Hospice in Sheffield, where she was a patient under, and she used to go there and do arts and craft there. But she'd asked me if I would help her because she got a big batch of cards that she wanted to take in with her, and it was literally just an afternoon spent crafting with her, and I was hooked. And before I'd even left, she'd ordered me a couple of kits from Create and Craft at the time. She'd ordered a couple of kits from there for me, and after I left, I went straight down to the local Hobbycraft, went there, got myself loads of bits and bobs like glues and papers and cards and kits, and that was it. That was the start of the love affair for card making for me into paper crafting, because I'd always been quite creative, done cross stitching when kids were little, always making my own clothes. Back in the day, that's what we had to do, make our own clothes. We used to alter clothes, me and our Carl.
Oh yes, I do remember the story.
Yeah, me and my cousin Carl, literally, we used to take my Uncle Dudley's clothes and my Auntie Jean's things. Whenever my mum's or my dad's, they were always my uncle and aunties, and we used to alter clothes and then do photo shoots, pretending we were like the stars of the 80s, back in the day, as you do, take photos and things like that. We used to have, honestly, my childhood were amazing. But that's where it started for me, paper crafting, serious paper crafting, which developed into shall we say, an addiction, because I did bring my friend up that day and I said to her, do you know you said you've always wanted to come to your card classes? When do you do these card classes? Yeah. And that was it.
So you went from crafting with Auntie Jean to doing, were they like evening classes?
It actually fitted around the job that I did in dentistry, because I used to do a Thursday, which was a late shift, so I didn't start till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So in the morning I used to go to Linda's card class, which then when Linda came out of crafting, I took over. Yeah. And I ran that up until me starting with Crafter's Companion, and now those guys, Betty, Trish and Carol and all the rest of the guys, still do that card class to this day. They just take it in between themselves and do it. So, but yeah, that's where it all stemmed from and grew.
Oh my goodness, this is so fantastic, isn't it, to find out all of this stuff. And I guess you had like a natural sort of like aptitude for it, really. Then I guess always being quite arty. I think
picked it up really quickly. I love trying different things. I'd stuck to one particular style for a long time, which was kits and things like that, and then tried different things, and then moving to stamping, moving to colouring. And because I have always been quite creative, I found it quite easy to, well, not easy because that's the wrong word, but always found it quite therapeutic, very nice to do, and a nice mindful craft to do. But really got my creative going again, because bringing kids up as you do, it takes it away from it, because you're getting, you know, you're doing all the things that you would do as a mum, and it keeps you very busy. But when they were all in bed, there was nothing for me to do, so it was always nice to get into that. Well, where with papercraft, to do in the papercraft side of things, it's just been really lovely, because now it's for me. I get to enjoy it and do all of that for me, and really do enjoy it. I do.
And of course, again, I think a lot of people might know, obviously you're here with us, but previous to that, you started off in the stores. So how did your sort of love of crafting and then doing those evening classes lead you to work in one of the stores?
So that's literally, I'm going to tell you right now, it was a fluke. So my lovely niece from when I was married, Claire, she lives in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
She tagged me into a post that was on Facebook, and it was a post from Crafters Companion saying, would you like to see how things are with design team demonstrating? And I didn't see the store. I'll be totally truthful, I didn't see the store part of it. But then, so I looked at it and I went in, delved into it, and it actually tells you where to go. And I actually just turned up for this particular session that was at this hotel in Chesterfield. And I hadn't realised at the time, I thought it was an open day. And it turns out when Meg handed me the form and then took a picture of me, I thought, what's going on here? What's she taking a picture of me for? And she went, there's your application form. And I just literally took this application form off, and I was like, I'm applying for a job. Because I was like,
this is brilliant.
I was quite happy with my dentist. I loved my dentist job. I loved where I worked. And I was like, this is an application. And as it turned around, because there was like Leanne there, and there was Gov, who was running the Chesterfield store, and Sarah, who now runs the Chesterfield store. They were all there, and they were rotating and meeting everybody and talking about all the different things. But it was actually to pick up, like, get people, like, for the store that was opening in Chesterfield. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay then, but I just handed it in anyway, thinking nothing had ever come to it. The day after, I got a phone call, would you come for a second interview? I'm thinking, interview? I didn't realise that were an interview. Seriously, I just thought that was honestly, I just thought it was an open day. So yeah, so it's a funny old story how it all turned out, but it all worked out for right. I remember being really interested in the demonstration part of it, and did a set of training separate to the store, and I remember the phone call that I got from Leanne. I was on a cider boat in Bristol.
A cider boat?
A cider boat in Bristol, because I was in Bristol, and I've got the phone call. It was like a mini rave going off in the background, and I honestly think, I don't know what Leanne thought of her first impression of me, because all you could hear was boom, 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 boom. So I went up deck, because I was below deck, went up deck, and she said, we'd love to have you on our demonstration team. And I was screaming with joy, literally. And then literally that same day, literally about 10 minutes later, a phone call from Gov, we'd love you to come and work at the Chesterfield store.
Aww.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And then they said, like, when does it start? Anyway, Monday. This was Thursday. I was on holiday from work, and I was like, might have a little bit of a problem. Month's notice to work first before I can do anything. But fun, you know, this is the lovely people at High Green, Michael and Margaret I work for. I went to my practice manager, and she said to me, we really don't want you to leave. We don't want you to leave. However, Margaret has given you her blessing. She knows how much you love, because I used to make cards there for everybody, and she knows how much you love the world of craft, and we don't want to stop you. So you can go. And they were really brilliant about it. So from that holiday, I went on holiday for a week, never went back to work. Yeah. Because I then started work for Crafters Companion, and that's how it all started.
And how did you go from store, where I know you obviously have many happy memories, how did you go from store to TV?
So I was the assistant manager at the store. So I used to do all the day-to-day running with Sarah, the manager, and I used to teach classes in store as well. So the stores, we used to hold regular weekly classes. And I say weekly, I did them weekly, but we had them every single day. However, we had our second birthday celebration, and of course, Sarah came down every birthday. And Sarah came down and she said, hey, I've got an idea. I want to do like a full day of classes. I want to just get many people in, get them into the love of crafting, but I need someone to help me get it ready. So me being me, I was like, yes, I'll do it for you. And I genuinely, there must have been easily 150 people that day that came through the doors. And I'd prepped everything and got it all set up and literally was Sarah's helper. And from that, this is genuinely from that, I got a massive bunch of flowers on the Monday from Sarah to say thank you for being my inky friend there. That wasn't the language she used, but there we go, that's another story. That is where it stemmed from there, because I then got, and this is another funny story, my daughter took me to Brighton for my 50th birthday, and we went and stayed down at Brighton, and I had an email come from the team over in the office and said, we would love you to come and join the TV team. Would you be interested? We'd love to put you through a screen test. And that's how that came from there. So Sarah had seen me in store, seen how I worked, and said, we'd love to have you on the TV team. And I went through all that screen testing process, and got the full-time job at Crafters TV, which is where I've been for the last, now 5.5 years, I'm going to say, around that time.
Can you remember any of your first shows, or like how you felt? Because I started, obviously, I didn't start off in craft and TV, I started off in just normal shopping telly, and I can still remember vividly now my first ever show, and I was an absolute nervous wreck. Were you the same?
I was, because I used to do a bit of shadowing to start with when I'd left store, because I left the store on New Year's Eve and started straight away on the 2nd of January on the TV team. And I did a little bit of shadowing through January. I wasn't actually due on air until February, but Sarah being Sarah, I was down at Ochanda with her at the time, and she said to me, I've got to go and have a meeting, Debs. Do you fancy just coming on? Just because tomorrow you're going on fully. And I was like, what do you mean tomorrow I'm going on fully? And she was like, you're going on fully. This is, you're going to be your first day. And I went, oh, no, I'm not due till February. No, tomorrow you're going to do that, because I've got a day back-to-back of meetings. And so she said, so you're going on now, literally in the middle of a Parisian collection.
Oh, yeah.
With Charlie. You remember Charlie Hopkins?
I do remember Charlie Hopkins.
I went down and literally I did one demo. I remember shaking, physically shaking, because Charlie had to keep hold of me. Do you know when you get that dry mouth? Everything goes, and I thought everything was sticking to my teeth because I was so dry. And I have never done in my life, Ben, a demo as quick in all my life. I would literally, whap, done. And I was like, whoo, come off there thinking, oh my goodness. So I was very nervous, but it's Sarah. Sarah, you know what Sarah's like. And literally was, you're going on, that's it. And then that was it, because the day after, I did the full days of shows with Catherine. It was Catherine's first day as a presenter, and it was my first day as a proper craft expert on air. So that's where it all stemmed from, and how it all started.
So I'm just trying to think then, because you and I met, I mean, how many years had you been?
I'd only just started that year.
Had you actually?
That was.
So you went from doing that on Hochanda, because we initially did our first show together on ITV, didn't we?
We did, yes, in the early hours of the morning, the middle of the night when nobody was awake. We did, because I'd done a full day up here at Crafters and then drove straight down to Peterborough. Yeah. And I was hoping and praying that I got a really nice presenter that would keep my energy levels. And you walked in, a breath of fresh air, and I just thought, oh yes. And then that's when I started singing praises to Sarah, because I'm like, we need this man, we need him, we need to have him. And you know what we were like, me and Craig both championing this. So, but yeah, that's when I first met you on ITV in the middle of the night.
All those years ago, yes, we met a long time ago in the middle of the night. It's amazing. I've got some quick fire questions to do at the end of the show, but it's amazing to think, like, you know, where you started and sort of where you are now. When you were younger, was there something particular that you wanted to be? Because I can't imagine that, you know, when you were sort of in your teens, that you thought, oh, I want to be like a TV craft demonstrator.
I wanted to work in a wedding shop with wedding gowns.
Oh, did you?
Genuinely, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be around all those brides, dress them, get them ready for the big day. And I loved wedding dresses, the big, beautiful dresses. That would have been my ideal job. As time moved on, when I was working in dentistry, I always remember Sarah, one of the girls that worked there, said to me, what would you love to do? We sat one Thursday afternoon. I remember, isn't it funny how you remember certain events? And I said to her, she asked me, she said, Debbie, what would your ideal job be? And I actually said to her, to be in craft. I would love to be in the world of craft. And do you know what I said to her? I said, in a month of Sundays, it's never going to happen. It's a very tough industry. There's no way I'm going to ever be in that. But I would love and ideally love to be in that world. And then, hey-ho, a few months later, it happened all from my gorgeous niece sending me a post, tagging me in this post that I thought was the open day. Turns out it was a recruitment day, and this is how it all stemmed. And I genuinely, I pinch myself every day, Ben, because I am lucky. I know I'm lucky. I think it was the right time, right place, and that kind of thing. And I always believe in that kind of stuff. And I genuinely think it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky. I pinch myself every single day. Never ever take this for granted, ever. And I love it. And I just don't, I couldn't imagine anything else now.
No.
I feel like it's in my blood and in, you know, who I am.
Yeah.
And I want it to continue.
You kind of done what you were meant to do with your life, really.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it feels. As I say, I want to finish off with some quick fire questions in a minute, but obviously this job takes up a lot of time, doesn't it? I mean, I know you're always very, very busy, whether you're here, whether you're prepping at home, or you know, going down to Hobby Maker. What if you do get like a day off and you're not crafting? What do you like to do if you had a choice?
It's always spent with my family.
Is it?
My grandkiddies are my world. I love those two babies so much that any kind of spare time, I just want to spend it with family and the rest of our family as well. I try and get to see family and friends in between, but that's my kind of downtime. I do love walking though, so I'm not going to lie. I love to go out for a nice walk. If ever I've got a day, I'll just have a little walk around lakes. I'm a lover of rivers, and you know, I love walking around a riverside or lakeside.
Some lovely countryside in Yorkshire as well,
We've got some beautiful Greenwich Place. Greenwich Place. Got loads of lovely areas to go. The Yorkshire Moors and things like that. Just have a walk round, get that wind in your lungs, and
you're a big concert goer as well, aren't you?
I am. I
love a gig or two, don't you?
Love a gig or two. Literally, funnily enough, just put out all my holiday days for this year for all my gigs that I'm going to. Girls Aloud, Peter Kay, Paul Smith, and the rest. Oh, Blue. I'm just hoping there's a few more that I'm going to get to as well. I do love to go to a gig or two. I think I should have my own seat in the Sheffield Arena. That's all I'm going to say. If you're watching Sheffield Arena, then give me my own seat, please, because I am always there.
I think absolutely we should make that happen, you know. The Barnsley Bombsdale Shell / I'm going to need to come up for the new name now, finding out that you're actually from Sheffield. The Sheffield...
I have lived, I will tell you, I have lived in Barnsley a lot longer than I did in Sheffield.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my roots are Sheffield. That's where I was born and bred for a little while, but yeah.
Do you want some quick fire questions?
Go on then, fire away.
I kind of wish I'd written down a few more of these now, but let's start. Day or night?
Night.
As in, like, you a bit more of a night owl. Yeah?
I'm a night owl. Although saying that, I am up early. I get up early every day, but night is when I get creative. It's the night time.
You'll know as well if you've ever seen any of Debbie's Facebook lives. You know, start at 8 o'clock in the evening. They can go on until 8 o'clock the following morning. I
do like to chat.
I know the answer to this next one, but I'll ask it anyway. Cold or hot?
As in?
Would you rather be?
Cold. That's because I'm always hot. That's the problem. I'm always hot, so I do like a cold temperature.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vacay or staycay?
Well, now I've just dabbled in vacay. I'm going to say vacay, not staycay, because I did enjoy the holiday when I went abroad, and I did enjoy the heat. Funnily enough, I enjoyed that heat, just rested, chilling with my daughter. So I think I'm going to say vacay. I
have got wine or beer? Oh, no.
Well, I'm going to have to say wine. Oh. I'm not a beer drinker.
What do you know?
Lager. I like lager, but
okay.
I do like a nice wine as well.
A few crafty ones here. Messy crafting or tidy crafting?
Messy crafting, every time. Messy.
Watercolouring or alcohol colouring?
Oh, no, that's unfair. That's unfair.
Come on.
No, because I love them both. I love them both equally, in equal measures. I adore colouring both.
You're going to hate this next one then. Manual machine or electronic machine?
Oh, no.
If you could only use one machine for a whole year.
Okay. It would be the electric, and it would be the G2 without a shadow of a doubt.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet, funnily enough. I love sweet.
You've got tickets to either Bucks Fizz or Peter Kay on the same night. Who would you go?
Peter Kay.
Oh, okay.
Controversial, but Peter Kay every single day of the week.
And the final one, I know we're running out of time here. Ben Mosby or Nigel May?
Oh, yeah! Go on then, Ben.
Yay! Hey! Oh, Debbie, I can't believe that half hour has gone. I've
It's
absolutely
flown by.
loved it.
It's absolutely flown by. I can't believe how fast it's gone, Ben.
We're going to have to do a part 2, aren't we, at some point?
Thank you. Well, I'd love to. I would love to. But let the others have
Let
a
them
go
have a go
first. Let them
first,
have a
shall
go first.
we? Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Feel free to leave some comments down below, any other questions you want to ask Debbie on a future episode, and also anyone else that you want to see. Obviously, we're going to be featuring the likes of Craig and Debbie Fisher, but anyone else from behind the scenes you'd like to find out more about, let us know, and we will feature them on a future edition of Craft Story. Thank you to Debbie. See you soon. Bye for now.
Craft Story. Craft Story. Craft Story. Tell me about your life.